blazing, blazing, blazing.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy. Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C., Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
Feeling lonely this holiday season? Looking for little human interaction? Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
The TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner, say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be.
It could be me. Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoes.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventative care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
Governor Romney's argument is, we're not fixed, so fire him and put me in.
If I was in his shoes, I'd be making the same argument.
It is true, we're not fixed.
We know we're not there yet. We're not where we want to be.
Too many of our friends and family are still out there looking for work.
I don't think anybody would say that we're where we want to be.
The housing market's still weak. Deficits are still too high. Are we satisfied? Of course not. They shouldn't feel satisfied.
There's still a lot of people in trouble.
Are we where we want to be today? No.
Here's the thing. A lot of people are still hurting out there.
But that's not good enough.
That's not good enough.
It's certainly not enough.
We know it's not good enough.
I always believed this was a long-term project. It's going to take more than a year. It's going to take more than 2 years. It's going to take more than one term. Probably takes more than one president. If I don't have this done in 3 years, then there's going to be a one-term proposition.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And we are back! Yes, indeed. Your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live on the air. on the conservative broadcast media network, the CB Media Network right here, powered by Zinc Media. Yes, indeed, we are rolling along this Thursday. November the 1st. It is November 1 already, if you can believe that. 2 months left of this year, and 5 days until one of the most important elections within our life. Well, we say that every election. This is the most important election of our lifetime. But this one is really important. Really is. We have to get it right. But I was driving today in the car, and I was listening to the radio, and I was listening to them talk about different polls and how close the polls are, and how close they are in a lot of states. And I was thinking, well, why, if we know what Obama's about and what he's done, and we want to get into that in just a second. Then why are so many people supporting him? But it comes down to what Mitt Romney said. Now, I want y'all to think about this and think about it hard, because this is where we're going to lose our country if we let it slide any further. Romney said that off the cuff, that as far as the votes were concerned, not the people themselves, but as far as the votes were concerned, he wasn't worried about 47% of the population, because they were probably going to vote for Obama no matter what. Now, what he didn't understand or realize is that he was a little bit wrong. I think it's now at 49%. Now, you got to understand that nearly half the American population is now in some form or another being dependent on the federal government or state government. They're dependent on the government. So what are they going to do? They are most likely going to vote for the people that are going to keep the gravy train running. That is why some of these states, the polls are so close. In states where you think, well, come on, they're conservative. New Hampshire, it shouldn't be. Obama shouldn't be. The polls in New Hampshire shouldn't be this close. Obama, a liberal, even though we're close to Massachusetts, and I know a lot of Massachusetts and Californians and New Yorkers have moved to New Hampshire, it still isn't that many. It shouldn't be that close. The reason is because we have a lot of people that get some form of government assistance, and they don't want that money to disappear. Plain and simple. It's the truth all over the country. And it is going to, if it keeps rising, it is going to make it even more difficult for conservatives to win elected office. Because who in their right mind is going to vote for somebody who's going to take money away from them? Well, I probably shouldn't have said it that way, because liberals do it all the time. They vote for somebody who's going to raise their taxes. And then liberals get them to feel good about having their taxes raised too. They really did. It's an amazing thing. But this is why the polls are, because we have so many people who are now really dependent on government when they never should have been dependent in the first place. But that's the case. That's why we're so close. And this is proof positive that if we let it get to 50, 51, 52%, it could be over. We won't get our country back in the foreseeable future, if at all. I mean, it could get to the point where basically that's, some states that are really want to be conservative, they will secede in some form. They'll break up the union. That'll be it. Look, I know it can't last. Nothing that's made by man lasts forever. That includes governments and nations. It's not going to last forever. At some point, the United States will cease to exist. I firmly believe that. At some point in man's history in the future, the United States will cease to exist. I shudder to think, by today's standards, what would replace it. I would like to think it would be a greater society with greater freedoms than we now enjoy. But somehow I doubt it. It's a shocking and sad thing. And don't say it can't happen here. Massive governmental change. Don't ever say it can't happen here. Yes, it can. It can, and someday it will. Either we will weaken ourselves so badly from the inside that an outside force will take us over, or we will just break ourselves up. At some point, it will happen. How fast and how soon it happens depends on us today. Because we're pushing off this debt to our kids and grandkids and great-grandkids. How about if we pushed the destruction of our nation off, too? I mean, if we're going to push something off, how about we push the destruction of our country off? Past our grandkids and past our great-grandkids. How about if we do that? I mean, that's a legacy I can live with. That's a legacy I can be proud of. Hey, we did the right thing when I was alive. I can tell my posterity, we did the right thing when I was alive to preserve and protect the liberty that you have today. So, 150 years from now, hey, it's all you. We protected it for you. We're giving you this. This is your inheritance. Now it's up to you, but not the other thing. Write him a Dear John, I'm sorry letter. I'm sorry, great-grandchild, that we have stuck you with debt. So by the time that you've become an adult, turn 18 and get out into the workforce, you owe the government $250,000 of your earnings. We got a choice. Just think about it. We got a choice. The birth rate. The United States birth rate hits an all-time low. And not only is that the case, but almost 41% of babies born today are born to unwed women. Well, a lot of them aren't even women. Some of them are just teenage girls. But 41% of our kids are born out of wedlock. Technically speaking, 41% of babies are bastards. Really. Now, the other caveat or addition to that is that we have an awful lot of abortions in our country. Now, this is voluntary abortion, not abortion that is necessitated by health or rape. Yeah, I'm one of those conservatives. I'm going to say, well, you know what? I am not going to be one of those idiotic, well, I'm not going to say they're idiotic, because it's their personal belief. I have no problem with somebody's personal belief if they have a strong, logical conviction for it. Now, there are some people out there that believe that the good book, the Bible, would not condone abortion even in the case of rape or incest. I do not believe that. But abortion strictly as a use for birth control, I'm against it. Late-term abortions of any kind except for the health of the mother, I'm against it. I don't care. Hey, even, and this is going to be controversial, I know. Late-term abortion, illegal even in the case of rape.